Okay, fine. Let's start. So this particular session basically is based on, entrepreneurship, testing and, finalizing your finding and testing your idea. How do you find an idea? There may be times, students, that you have a lot of ideas and a lot of thoughts, but you are not able to finalize that which is best idea and which is best business to do. So today we will start from this particular point where I like a quote by Kevin Rose which says that don't let other convince you that your idea is good when your gut tells you it's bad. So what you have to do is today, nothing is based on guts. Nothing is based on, I want to do this. Whether you can do this, whether you have ability to do this or not, that is what we are going to find out truly, that how do we actually test our idea and how do we actually find that our idea is worth doing business or not. So let's start, students. So for many, the idea of starting your business, it can be very, really exciting. You can create your own freedom, you have that kind of thought in your mind. You can create your destiny with your career. You're a job provider, not job seeker. But for many it can be an overwhelming, like me, I might be teaching this, but for, if somebody asks me to do a business, maybe I don't have that capability or an ability. One of the major ability a person or a talent a person has, risk taking, which I may not have. I may like a secure job or a secure earning. So there are many different businesses that you could create. Which one is right for you? Right. So in which is the right one for you? So when I was doing the training in IIM Bangalore, and even in my university, I found there are a lot of students who belong to a family business. Like yesterday I was talking, I think, to Afridi, belongs to a family business, from a family business, but he wanted to start something of his own. So even if you belong from a successful entrepreneur family, then it might have happened that the person who has started in your family the business might have failed in past, and he might have found the best opportunity possible from that failure, and after a failure maybe he might have got some success. So what we are going to do in this session is, we will first cover how to understand yourself. Okay, because if you are willing to lead to a best possible business, then you will have to assess that whether the idea you have is a great opportunity or just this is an idea. So we will find out the difference between opportunity versus idea. And once you have, and you are sure that this is idea is a better opportunity and you can do a business in that, then create a micro plan. So next session tomorrow, I will be, once we are clear that what idea, and we finalize that this is our final idea of doing business, after doing all the particular things which you're required to do, we will go ahead with the next step of creating a micro plan for testing your opportunity and figuring out how to increase the odds or challenges of making a winning business model. Okay, so I'm going to share something which I have already shared with my students. I have trained more than around 300 or 350 students by now on this in a very small batch. And most of them actually were able to start. It's not me alone, there is a full cell in NSCRL. I will take you to the site also in the end of the session, where you can just find out that if you want, you can just apply to IIM Bangalore incubator, or maybe your university might have an incubator. You just have to go and they may help you. So I'm going to use a model which we normally use in IIM Bangalore. And this particular model is about, the mixture of three things: gift, skills, love, and together it comes out with something called talent. So are you gifted with something? Do you have the skills? And do you love something? So let's look into these things. So we have to go for something which makes sense. We have to do a business which obviously makes sense, which is logical, and which has a numbers lineup. Ultimately, every business want to create a profit. Okay. So let us look into the various kinds of opportunity factors which we have. Okay. What kind of opportunity factors are lined up before you start thinking about an idea? Let's say you have an idea. You have an idea of starting a ice cream factory. Let's suppose that. So how do you assess that whether that particular idea is opportunity for you, whether it can create a demand in the market where you want to uh, you know uh, implement your idea or do a business? So for that, there are a lot of opportunity factors which has to be considered. I'm going to consider this one by one, like demand, then your resource, profitability, distributions, right, and funding, and the proprietary advantage. So before we go ahead, we have to understand all these opportunity factor and then take a action to build a foundation for success. Okay. So the first thing is that you have to, before starting a business, you have to know yourself as an entrepreneur. So what do you mean? I'm not telling that know yourself as a person. There is a difference between knowing yourself as a person, your personality characters, and there's a difference between understanding you as an entrepreneur. Do you have what kind of skill, talents, and passion you have as an entrepreneur? So when it comes to finding a new business idea, there are so many resources that might be used. There are a list of online business that you can create. You can even write those topics whenever it is coming to your mind. However, I suggest that this is not the ideal approach to take. Instead, we want to focus on you. That means who you are, what make you great. Then some of the greatest entrepreneurs. So this is the model which I told you I'm going to use: gift, love, and skill equivalent to talent. Okay. So what are your gifts? I have given one particular PDF, which I have shown in the slide also, which I'll be passing on today. And it's called Gift Discovery PDF, where you can go ahead and you can mark what is the gift. Doesn't mean that your parents have gifted. Maybe your parents might have gifted. One gift can be that you are in the business from generation to generation and you want to continue the same business. So you are gifted, right? So that is one thing. And the second one is that you might have some kind of a gift, God gift talent. Okay, so that also is something which you can do. So then the third thing, second important thing is about what do you enjoy? What do you love to do? Right. So that also there is a file called lovediscovery.pdf. I'm going to give you that. Fill it up. The third very important thing is that do you have the skill? So some of the greatest entrepreneurs in the world come from business that they already had some familiarity with. So the model that I would like to use here is gift plus love plus skills equal to talent, which I already told you. So it is at the intersection of these three things where your talent lie, what make you great. Now, if you want to go into this process of greater depth, you actually want to discover your strength. So the first thing in the entrepreneur, when you want to know yourself as an entrepreneur, is to discover your strength. So, however, we have actually provided a lot of exercise file to the students during this process. So, in while we were doing this training session, we were actually longer than in physical classroom, so we could actually give them the file there itself, and they could fill it up, and then we could just go ahead and do it. So, in the first worksheet, which I will be giving you, which is called the gift worksheet, there are the things that you were born to do. You can even use a worksheet to ask others what things make you great. You can ask your family members, you can ask your friend who's your friend for a long time, that what do you think, that what gift I have, what I'm born with. Like somebody may be very rich, somebody may be from a family business, somebody may have certain kinds of artistical skills. So you can ask that and fill in that sheet. Okay. So sometimes these other people will help you understanding it better if you don't know how to do it. And next thing, what you have to do is you want to look at the thing that you love, that you can only tell. So these are the things that which you love doing, you have enjoy, you what you do just like to do for fun, right? So often these things give you energy. It will give you a longevity in a entrepreneurship. Next, you are going to look at is your skills. This is a knowledge that you have acquired over time, whether it is through learning in a college, or doing a course, or maybe doing an internship in some company, or maybe you're working in your own family business and you have acquired those skills. Like, for example, if you have a restaurant business and you've acquired a skill of, or you are doing a hotel management course, you acquired a skill of hotel management and maybe, developing certain dishes. What are the different, not necessarily you have to become a chef, but that these are the dishes which are available. So skill comes from learning and internship. Okay. So you can do a lot of course related to this. Not necessarily you have to depend on your college or formal education. You can go online and develop those skills. And better thing is to learn by doing it. So you can develop those kind of skills. Okay. So finally, you want to look at all these three things, which is your gift, your love, and your skills. So whenever you see something mentioned multiple times in all these three categories, there's an excellent sign that you have a talent in that area. When you see something commonly coming up, right? So that's an excellent sign that you have a talent and you want to focus on generation of ideas. So this entire session is about idea generation, okay, which is a starting point of any business. Okay. Next thing we should focus is, once you know yourself as an entrepreneur, that what talent you have, what gift you have, what skills you have, then you come to the next phase, which is about be aware of the need. I always tell my student, when the student come to me, and most of the students, they come to us and we have an entrepreneur incubation cell, and sometime I work there, and most of the students used to come and say that, my family is not in business, but I want to do, but I don't know what to do. So the first thing I just tell them is, look around yourself. See the problem people are facing or you are facing. In India, the problem is an opportunity for business, right? So what kind of a problem people are facing, the solution of that problem becomes a business. So you have to be aware of the need. So what happens, if talent are about who you are, then need are about what other people want. You have to give people what they want. It is not what you want. So it's about the problem what people are facing. It's about the pain they have. Okay. So the best entrepreneurs, they cultivate the awareness of world around them, the need of the other people, what they have. So the most basic example of the business that is based on need might be, for example, like I just took that example which I was facing few days back, is about the dry cleaning on a regular basis. You want a person who can come to your house, take a dry cleaning stuff, right? Like my husband wears suit every day, so we need to dry clean his coat or his thing at least once in a month. But I didn't have anybody to come to my house and pick that up. Whereas I have to go to a dry cleaner, which is little far off from my house, and give it. So what if I need a dry cleaner on a weekly or a monthly basis? Somebody who can come to my house and do that. So that's my problem. And I don't have anybody in the market nearby who can do this. Like this, in my apartment, 140 apartments are there in my society. Many of these people, when I talk to them, they also have the same problem. So then either you move to an area where there is a lot of dry cleaner, but for one problem, you can't do that. So you find there are no dry cleaner nearby. So this is an example of a need that could exist in the market. It could be a good business idea. The idea is to discover the problem or discover the pain that other people have along with you. So I have provided you with a worksheet that you can use to go through this process. Okay, I will suggest all of you do that. So there are a series of questions you want to explore. First, about yourself, that what is missing in your day, what's too hard, what's too difficult for you. Also, you can explore the question as it is relating to the other people. Are they facing the same issue? And the third question deals with just. So this is the first question which is there in the sheet which I have given you. discovery sheet, which says what is something on a regular basis you complain that, okay, I wish we could have this services. Oh, it is too bad. We are not getting, too hard to get, too difficult to use. Like, for example, when the problem of getting the auto driver and handling their tantrums of not going on a meter and charging anything, you have no choice. You have to go. Most of the time, you might have thought that, I wish I could have a service where there is a predetermined cost, where I can just book and it comes to my doorstep and I get down and I take. The idea of Ola, Uber came like that. So that's how if you have a question always in your mind, I wish I could have this. It drives me crazy. I'm mad because this is not going to happen. These are the problems I'm facing. If the similar problems are faced by the other people, then this is an opportunity. So what is something, the second question, on a regular basis, you other also complaining which is missing, your friends telling you, your neighbors telling you that this is missing, this is so hard, why doesn't someone do this? Like I told you about dry cleaning problem in our society. So it was like 2 years back after corona, then I found there's a lady who has a who tied up. She was an iron lady in our apartment. She used to come and do the ironing, and then husband fell sick and she could not do it, and she found that most of the people were asking her, and she is illiterate, let me tell you, most of the people are asking her that, do you know anybody who can pick up the dry cleaning stuff from us and get it dry cleaned? And today she is doing a big business. She stopped ironing her clothes. She just take the order on WhatsApp. People call her on WhatsApp and say that, okay, her name is Aruna. Aruna, please come and take the dry cleaning stuff. She tied up with a dry cleaning stuff, shop, which is little far off. She picks up and she drops, and then she get it back, and she charges from that dry cleaner some 20 to 25 rupees, depending on the thing. And she's earning well. So this is called business idea, how you can deal with. So as I said that, and then the third question comes. The third question is dealing with just things that other people are asking you to do or give. Okay. And perhaps the people discover that, okay, fine. This is another thing which I missed out, where it says that what is something about what that a business did recently that got you upset. So there might be some business which is nearby you, which is giving you service. You are using that service regularly, but it is upsetting you on certain things. Could you solve that problem? For example, Reed Hastings of Netflix. The business of Netflix came from a problem he faced, from the irritation he had from Blockbuster. So Blockbuster, he was renting CDs, the video CDs. The Blockbuster used to send the video CDs and on through the mail to the people and charge them rental, video rental business. But if you delay in sending the rental, or you delay up, and you whatever the due date is passed, and you have after that you're sending it back, the Netflix Blockbuster used to charge you a late fees, which was very high. And same thing happened with Reed Hastings when he has rented, and he had to pay a late fees which was so big, and he got so upset with this because he tried to convince Blockbuster that he was not there and that is the reason, but Blockbuster could not hear. They said, this is our policy, which will charge you late fees. And he paid the late fees, and which got him upset and gave an idea to him that why not start a business where a person is not charged a late fees, and where you don't have to send all these problems are solved. What Blockbuster as a world, as that time, the market leader is doing in a video rental business. So he started a business, and today Blockbuster is out of the business because of Netflix. And they keep on studying the need. Later on, they studied the need that people don't want on the mail videos to be sent to their house, and then they have to send it back. So why not? At that time, internet was growing, and he had a skill. He was a software engineer. He was a software developer. He thought, I have a skill. He had a partner who had additional skills. And why not go for a business where we create a video library online? So you don't have to send somebody a physical, cassette or CD. It can be played, the video can be played through a database of video, which is available on a subscription based. So he came up with those idea, and today you can see where they have gone. So this is very, very important that you know. The third question deal with just think that other people are asking you to give. So perhaps the people discover that sometime, you have a gift. You have something which you have. For example, people are more often calling you for, uh, you know, uh, handling something which they have a problem and they know you can solve. Like, for example, Mark Zuckerberg, who was a kind of a hacker, and he was called by his college friend to hack certain database and get them some information. He found that he has that gift, that he can do that job better than anybody else there. And that's the reason why people seek his help. And there is a demand for his, the thing which he has. People have discovered that. So people are regularly when asking you and relating to your talent that people buy. So you will feel that, okay, I'm talented at this. Maybe some of you may be gifted for graphic designing, and you are regularly asked by your friend to design a card for them or design a particular poster for them. So that could be a need. Like, one of my student was really very good in digital marketing. He did a course and then he started as a hobby. One of my student who was a very, very interested, very much interested from 8th standard, he was very much interested in cameras, and he started studying cameras. Each camera which used to come in the market, he will study about that. He will know everything about that. He started a blog, right? He came to me, and I was actually teaching technology at that time, and I just was teaching blog. He came to me, he said, ma'am, I want to create a blog for my this. And then he created blog. Then he came that, ma'am, I want people to read and come to my blog and read. How do I do about it? I suggested, why don't you do a course on digital marketing? He did a course on a digital marketing. He tried, and his blog now have more than 3 lakh followers. And today, the Canon and all the companies are coming to him and asking him to give review on his blog, because people come to his blog before buying a camera, or people ask him. So he's gifted at that. And that's how the opportunity came. And he's a passive earner. And he say that, ma'am, every month I around 30 to 40,000 from this, or my putting up ad. This is an old story what I'm trying to tell. Okay, so this is very important. And as I said that, this is it. Then there is another a fourth question also. So when you see that you have to, as I said that, when you discover that what you are gifted at, the fourth, deal with business annoyance. As I said that, I told you about the Netflix story, that you are annoyed with some kind of a business which you are using, or some kind of services you are using on a regular basis, and you don't like, and something is missing in that, and everybody feel the same about that. So what I recommend is, after this session is complete, I recommend that you all take some time out and complete the worksheet which I will send you. I don't want to force you to answer anything. I just want you a first draft list of ideas that you might be good for you for a business. So come out with those business idea which you feel. Don't think too much. Don't ask. Just randomly what is coming to you in your mind, fill that particular sheet with those ideas. Now, let's move into something. How do you develop a new business idea list? So we are going to now come up with a brainstorm list of business ideas. And the most important rule in this process is, do not edit anything. As I just told you, whatever ideas, all of your ideas, any idea right now is good. Just put it down. So I have provided you with a worksheet that has 20 spaces for your brainstorm ideas like this. This is a brainstorm worksheet. Just go to that brainstorm worksheet which has 20 spaces for your business. Your goal is to get at least 10 ideas now. So what I said, whatever is coming in your mind, don't ask, don't think too much, just write those ideas. We just want to have an initial list that can edit from in the future. So take a look at the work that you did previously. If you want to fill that sheet, which can help you. Look at your need worksheet. What business idea could relate to the need that you saw? what business already exists, okay, and what business could relate to the need you have seen. As I said, what business relate to your talent? Ask that question. Okay, what is a business idea which is relating to my talent? Then come out with those ideas. Okay, so uh, what happens when you come out with those kinds of ideas? Just a minute. Okay, so here I said that look at your need worksheet and then fill all these questions, ideas, what you have. Remember, I said don't edit, all ideas are good. Also, did you have any idea which is in your mind, from a long time before you started any uh, discussion or any kind of a research on this? So most people don't go into the idea of starting a business without already having a couple concept in the mind. Maybe you might have thought that I want to do this, like Afreed yesterday said that he wants to go for a modification of car idea. So put those ideas on the list. Don't put one idea. Put all ideas what you have. So I'm looking at 10 ideas. If you can come up with more than 10, it is fine. Just write those 10 ideas which comes to your mind. Maybe there are few things which you might have thought. Now, after you write down, let's say you have written, well done if you have written 20 ideas, then we are going to go to the next step, which is narrowing the list of your best ideas. You're going to now select the best idea. So you have created a good list of starting business idea. Now, what you should be doing, you will notice on that worksheet that there are 3 more columns, and these columns are head, heart, and rank. Okay, this is a brainstorm worksheet where here you have listed all your ideas, and then you have 3 more columns: head, heart, and rank. Okay, so I want you to get your list down to the top 5 ideas. Okay, and here's how we are going to do it. First, let's start. How do we narrow down it to the 5 best idea? For that, first, let's start with the head column. We want to check the box for any idea that just simply makes sense, that is logical. I already told you about that. The idea which makes sense, which is logical, okay, and that you can see the numbers lining up. Now, before we are just throwing crazy ideas, we weren't editing anything because we were brainstorming. Now it is time to get logical. Check off the boxes for anything that makes sense in your head. Right. In the next column, we are focusing on our heart. How does it feel? Okay. Heart means how do you feel about that idea? As an entrepreneur, you need to be excited about doing anything. Like I'm as a teacher, when I come out of any session, when I want to do any session, I should be excited to take that session. If I'm not excited, I will not do a good job. Okay. So as an entrepreneur, you need to be excited about what you are doing. So we want to check the box for any idea, put the tick on the heart, column, whichever idea is exciting and interesting, and you are feeling passionate about it. Complete this process for the full list of 20 or 10 ideas what you have made. For head, which is making logical, put a tick. For heart, which is exciting and interesting for you, put a tick on that. Not necessary that which is logical can be exciting also. So if you don't know full answer, whether it is making sense in your head or heart, just put a question mark. Suppose for one particular idea, you don't know whether it is logical, which is head, or whether it is interesting or exciting, which is heart, just put a question mark. Now, what we are looking for are any ideas that don't check off either on a head column or heart column. For any idea like that, where you don't put a tick on head or on the heart, strike it off from the list. So we need both your head and your heart engage in entrepreneurship. Then finally, we are going to rank. As I said, that both are checked, then you have to do. Then finally, you are going to rank however ideas have left, which can be the top 5 ideas. And this should get us to somewhere around the top 5, as I said. From those top 5 ideas, we are going to now evaluate which has the best chances of likelihood. Now, before we go ahead in the next step, let us understand the difference between idea and opportunity. So long time ago, I was having a conversation with my student, and he was very excited about something because he had this great business idea. And I was working at that Jane Incubator Center at that time. And at the same time, I had an opportunity to work with Suresh sir from NSCRLIM Bangalore. And later on, he involved me in the process. So this student who came, and he said that this is like before pandemic. I'm talking about 2015. I got associated with I'm Bangalore. So it was the idea that he came and he said that, ma'am, I want to stream videos, movies, and TV online in India. The problem was, it was just that an idea, nothing more. So it was the difference between what my students said to me and people actually creating services like Netflix and Amazon. At that time, it was existing, but it was not popular because there was no Corona and all. Netflix and Amazon picked up their business during Corona. So the difference comes down to what I call the opportunity factors, right? So this idea of students to create an online entertainment services for video and all, just like Netflix and Amazon, was just an idea. So we have to now come out with opportunity factor. So we come to that process of opportunity factor when it is in an idea stage. So there are the principles that combine together which lead to an actually successful business. So the first one is this opportunity factor. Always you should do this, is demand. How much does the market actually want this product or service? And the next one is the expertise. We actually have to know how in the industry that we are trying to get into, that's what we need to make it happen, that business. So mean to know that, do you have the expertise to go? So my student, who was, I think, from a management, and he was doing MBA, and I asked him, do you have an expertise to do this on your own, or do you have an idea how to do this? Okay, this is the second opportunity factor. And so the third one is resource. Very, very important. Your resource as an entrepreneur are money, equipment, material. Very, very important resource. You might be studying in your college. So we have to have things necessary to create that product or services. Then the fourth opportunity factor. So the fourth opportunity factor is profitability. Ultimately, we are doing business for profit. So we actually have to make money in the business. This means we want to look at the price and cost differential and make sure that there is enough money to be made. Very, very important is the next opportunity factor, which is distribution. Distribution is a critical because it gets a product into the people's hand. You have a wonderful idea, you have all these expertise, demand, resource, profitability factor, you have worked it out. But ultimately, how is your distribution? How it is going to go to the people's hand? How your people are going to buy it? So what kind of infrastructure and connection you need to make this happen? And then finally is the proprietary advantage. So this is what makes you unique in terms of patent, trademark, and process. So let's look into all these opportunity factor one by one, student. Whenever you are doing business, this is how you should go about it. Whenever you have an idea, you have to go and find out and analyze or assess each of this opportunity factor. And better, don't assess this orally. Just write. I will be giving you the sheets. In exercise sheet, you can always use and you can do that. So let us first go to the first opportunity factor called demand, right? The first opportunity that we want to assess is demand. So simply we want to ask how many people can buy these products and services. So you have to do a demand analysis. So this is sometimes referred to as market size also in business. So there are 4 areas that we want to look at. The first, who are your customers? Whom are you going to focus on? Who's your target customers? What is their demographic feature? What is their age? What is their gender? What is their education qualification? What kind of social background, economical background? So are we looking at people, or are we selling it to business? That also is something which has to look out. Are you in B2B business or in B2C business? For instance, example might be that we are targeting women between the age of 35 and 54 who have an MBA. So it is gender woman. And if you look at the demographic feature, age is between 35 to 40, 54. And the women who have minimum qualification of MBA. Second thing, when you are wanting to know the demand, is you want to ask the question about the geography, about the location. Where are these customers? Where will you find these customers? When you identify your customer demography, you have to secondly go to identify where are these customers, what city, what geographical region they reside in. For instance, you might say that my customers are in Delhi or maybe in Mumbai. So now just a caution about this. Many people who are excited about their new business say our market is entire world because we are going to go on internet. That is also one major, problem, or one major mistake students or any person who's starting up the business does. So if you are going online, doesn't mean that your entire business. See, Jio, which is a Reliance business, they have the entire India as a business. They didn't do the business in the entire India. They started with 4 cities and slowly they picked up and they moved to the other. Lenskart started with 4 cities and they went ahead. Like this, there are so many businesses. Maybe tomorrow I'll give you for them example of wonderful business opportunity, how a person has found. And I have called him in my university also. You can always interact. He is a person who started from scratch, found an opportunity, worked on the business idea, worked on the opportunity factors, and today he is earning and he has around more than 1,000 employees working with him, and he's really doing very well. Okay, so how many potential customers who are existing in that geographical area? Then you need to also find out that how are you going to reach to these people? The good thing is, how do you analyze? So today we have a lot of tool available online. We have certain tools on social media like Facebook Analytics, which can help you in identifying your target customers. If you have no idea that who can buy your product, you can go to any business, what you want to do, not idea, the business. It will try to identify from a similar kind of business the demography and the location of your or the market for your business. So most of the time it is like 92 to 93% accurate. So you can do that. The next step is, after you identify the demand, the next step is expertise. Now, no matter how wonderful your idea is, like my student came and said, he wants to start something like Netflix. And he said in India, he wants to do that. But if you do not know how to do it, it is not an opportunity. In the worksheet that I have provided, I'm going to provide you, there are series of questions that you can go through to explore whether you or not you have the necessary expertise. So first of all, what are the technical abilities or skill required for that business? Okay. You want to list everything that comes to your mind. Don't forget essential skills like sales, web designing, legal, everything you have to put. Second, assess yourself on the scale of 0 to 10. Put, for example, if you require, a kind of a business which deals with digital marketing and you need to know Photoshop or something like that. Do you know the Photoshop? If you know, what is the expertise you have in Photoshop from 1 to 10? Put that. Okay. So all kind of skills or expertise required to that business, list it, and then assess yourself from 0 to 10. 0 being that you have no clue how to do it, 10 being you're master at it. Be honest in your assessment. And these will lead to us to the step 3, which is where any of this skill is below 7. Because there are potential problem here. If you don't have a capability that you need to order to make this business work in that skill, so it means that the idea is dead. Even the idea is wonderful. There's a market demand and everything. You have a market for it. You have a demand for it, but you don't have expertise. Don't rely on the people expertise. Don't, many times my student will come and tell that when I ask them this, they say that, ma'am, we are going to hire someone or outsource it or add someone to our team who has these skills. Just a cautions, to you people, that many people look for a partner when they are lacking a skill. For example, Apple. Steve Jobs was not a person who made the Apple computer, the Mac computer. It was Steve Wozniak. But so Steve Wozniak had that kind of skills to develop a wonderful computer like Mac. And Steve Jobs has an expertise in marketing. So both these expertise, one had expertise to manufacture a good product, another has expertise to market it. So sometimes you can go for that. But brutal honest with yourself is access this like you were an investor. Always think, I always tell my student when I'm teaching this, that access that you are an investor, whether you are going to invest money into this business done by somebody else. So you have to do that. Let's move to the next one, which is your resource. So now the third one is that uh, let's assume that you want a carpenter in your house to build your house. And what will you ask? The carpenter has to bring a wood. You have no tool. The carpenter need to bring. If the carpenter just come like this and say that, I don't, you get me the wood. I don't know. I have not brought any wood. I have not brought any tool. Won't this be a very silly to you? And you will say, what kind of carpenter you have come here to prepare? Will I give you the tools? You should bring the tool because the tool is of no use to you. Maximum you can buy a wood to him. So many would be an entrepreneur starting out exactly with the same situation. You have an idea for a business, yet lack the necessary resource to succeed. So in the worksheet I have provided, I'm going to give you some question to assess whether or not you have got the resource to make this idea an opportunity. Then first of the thing is, do you have money? How much money do you think you need? Just give it your best guess. Suppose you say, I require 5 lakh to start this business. Multiply it with 2. Always do that. What I'm telling is correct. If you say, feel that you require 5 lakh, multiply always with 2, because everything is more expensive than you think it will be. So do you have that money? And if not, how will you get that? Would you get a loan from a bank? Are you eligible for that? Would you ask, or will you go to a venture capitalist? Do you ask your family or friend for it? Where is that money going to come from to start a business? The second very important thing is the related question is for the first 6 months. How much money would you need to run this business? Assuming that always for the first 6 months, there is no profit. So this is a critical because most business need about 6 months to ramp up the time. Probably no profits are coming. So give it at your best guess. Then multiply again with 2. Whatever money you feel that 2 lakh rupees required, multiply by 2. That's the amount. 4 lakh is actually why it is required. Right? As I said that everything is very expensive and you don't have a money, where are you going to get it? The third thing is, let's consider the material. Okay, as I said, it requires 6 months. And the third thing is the material. Do you have the material? Let's consider this. We actually have the stuff we need to make whatever, but if you are, for instance, if you are going to have an ice cream business, we are going to need a cream, sugar, some mix-in. Do you have an access to this? From where will you get the cream? Will you buy it from a local retail store? It will be very expensive for you. So from where do you get the wholesale rate on the cream and sugar? Have you seen the beauty parlors? They don't buy the creams or the shampoos or the lotion which they are using in the in their parlor from a normal retail shop. They buy it from the manufacturer directly or from the wholesaler, right? So you have to have an access to it. Then where are you going to access it? The fourth, do you have the equipment that you need? Again, in the ice cream example, if we see, do you have the ice cream, sugar and everything, color, essence and all everything. but you have a equipment to mix the ice cream and freeze it and make it. So either we are going to have to buy one or you have to rent it. So you need to know this. And then finally, there are any other resources that we need, we haven't thought of any additional resources. So just add those in there. Look at these resources, write these resources on the paper, right? So we need reality check, students, not just excitement. Okay. Now, next one is predict profitability. A profit business must make money. That's a basic principle. Money is the lifeblood of the business. Without it, no matter how wonderful your idea it is just an opportunity. It isn't opportunity. The word for money in business is profitability. At its most simple level, profitability is sales minus expenses. Okay. So, but we need to dive a little bit deeper then. Now, first of all, ask yourself whether you are selling a product or a services. Okay. So if you are selling a product or a services, so are you selling a product or a services? So when you are thinking that, how much do you think you can sell that in a particular per unit? If it is a product, per hour, per unit, and if it is a service, per hour. So this is number S in the worksheet. Now we want to calculate or estimate your expenses per unit. Okay. So in other words, how much would it's going to cost us to provide this product or provide this service 1 hour of the services. So we want to overestimate here because everything costs more than what we think is going to cost. So the number E here, now this is number E. Now using these two numbers, we can calculate the contribution margin. Okay. So the contribution margin, which is sales minus expenses. Take the moment, think about this before you do this calculation in the sheet I'm going to provide and calculate. Now we need to look at our other overhead. This is also called fixed expenses. So what are those fixed expenses? These can be the thing you are always going to have to pay, whether your business is doing or not. So every month you have to pay like rent, utilities, subscription, insurance, administrative cost, transportation cost. So again, overestimate how much things are going to cost, because things always, as I said, cost more than what you think. Then we can calculate the next one, which is called break-even number or point. There's the most basic level in any of the business. This is overhead divided by contribution margin. So in other words, the break even are the number of units that we want to sell in order to get it break even. Hit zero every single month. This is a critical number because it lets you know how much you need to sell so that you are not losing money. But we are not done yet. The most important question is how likely are we in this business idea to double the break even every single month? Okay. Why double? Because it's not enough to start a business and just make back the money you have invested in. You want it to be highly profitable. You want to get more money out of it. And by trying to get 2 times what you're putting in, we are creating a business idea that has a lot of cushion behind it. So how likely is that? Now, not very likely, but very likely maybe. But just put your best guess. By taking a look at these numbers, it will help you understand whether or not this business opportunity or it is just a great idea. Okay. The next factor is distributions. You have got this amazing product and service. Now we need to get into the hand of our potential customer. These products should reach them. The service should reach them. So distribution answer those questions. That how are we going to do that? You might have the best ice cream on the entire planet, but if you do not it is not on the shelf of the stores and sold to the people don't buy it, you have an long battle to win in your business. So in the worksheet that I have provided, there are some questions that you can consider about the opportunity factor of distribution. So first of all, how will your most likely buyers need to get this product or services? Are you going to sell it by face to face, that means physical? Are you going to sell it over internet? Do you need do you need to open your own store and sell it by yourself? So be honest with yourself about the distribution model. Secondly, do you really have to establish a connection? Okay. And so how do you establish those connections? So you have to establish a connection with the distribution channel. Suppose you're a manufacturer, then you have to get hold of wholesalers. If you're a wholesaler, or you have to get hold of retailers. If you are a you want to have your own shop, or online, you want to sell it online, on Amazon or Flipkart, you need to know that how to assess them, how to go to this channel. Do you know who it is? Who is the person to with whom you should get in touch with? What are the process of being online on Amazon? How are you going to access those distribution channel is a very important question. So that's the question. These questions should be answered when you are actually trying to come out with an idea. Okay. So distribution. Next, last one is called proprietary advantage. The last opportunity factor is proprietary advantage. What does that term mean? Proprietary advantage is something that you own exclusive to yourself. You feel that you have developed something. Like one of my student used to make handmade soaps from herbs and all, and she thought that this is going to be something very exclusive. She has learned from her grandmother, and nobody sells this. So something that you some know and nobody else know. So it's not necessary, but it doesn't mean that if you don't know anything you can't do business. It's not necessary. You need to have, but if you have a proprietary advantage, it will have a lot of value to that business. So let's look into the example, some examples. So this is a propriety where you have patent, you have an invention. So one example is this person, which you might have known. The movie was based Akshay Kumar, called Padman. So Arunachalam Muranganatham is a person who had done a patent on the sanitary napkin machine, which can make a sanitary napkin at a very low cost. Many companies like Whisper and all wanted to buy this patent from him, but he didn't sell because his entire idea was to help the poor women have a price advantage, and they can buy sanitary napkin at a very low cost. So that's how he did that. So let us look at the ice cream of example of ice cream again. Sorry. And as I was talking about ice cream, so the first thing is about the patent. It can be an invention on anything. You can build something which is only it can be a machine also which can create, for example, a particular kind of ice cream. You might invent a heated scoop for ice cream. If you own the patent, you own that thing, you can sell it to the others. Second, there is a trademark that usually deal with a brand name. For example, Jack and Jones, that's a very powerful trademark, or Apple, which is very powerful trademark. So they have used that trademark to create franchisee, to create particular type of store, or give the franchisee ship to them. So you can also have a trademark, but it takes a lot of work to build up those values. Number three is a particular process or technology which you're going to have a copyright or patent on. This is proprietary advantage. I'm saying not necessarily you should have, but if it is, then you have a good business. Or maybe you are a software developer, you develop a software program exclusive for ice cream business, which nobody has done till so now. So you can have a kind of a proprietorship on that, and you will have a proprietary advantage. Okay. So many great ideas have been started without this also. So not necessary that you should have. You can find another way to create value, to create uniqueness. The idea is create uniqueness. One of the example which I want to give you is the example. Can't do the case studies, you don't have time. So I will tell you, you can go through this. So this is the Bella Gelateria, the gelatin ice cream, which you find now in India also. This was actually developed by a person called James Coleridge, who studied in Italy. And he actually invented the formula to come out with gelatin ice cream. And he started his own business in Vancouver called Bella Gelateria. And his business became, and he had a proprietary advantage, he patented. And he was the best creator of gelato in the entire Italy. There was a time when his shop, 2, 3 shop he opened, had people used to line up for hours to wait to get their ice cream. That was the situation at that time. And from him, from the patent, he gave those formula and he sold this formula to many other business and they started their own business. So this is also one of the things. Last step is finalize your single best idea. Now that you have a basic understanding about all the opportunity factor, demand, resource, expertise, proprietary advantage, distribution, now it is time to put them to the work. Now we want up to print out the worksheet for each of your top 5 business ideas. How many you had? Then whatever the 5 business idea you have shortlisted, now you have to ask, if it asks you to assess the subjectivity of the the opportunity idea which you have shortlisted, either by answering A, B, C, or D. Okay, in out of this, based on how many questions, like whether all these ideas, are you very clear business opportunity, possibility, a business opportunity, all those things, right? So I don't recommend that you try to do a business. If you are getting, suppose you're getting the answer only a clear business opportunity, after analyzing all those top 5 ideas which you have listed, then you can go ahead about it. If you're getting other than any A answer, B, C, or D, then I will suggest that you try the business, you don't do those business, because maybe those business are a little shaky. Okay, so let's go back to the worksheet and rate all the ideas on the scale of 0 to 10. And how strong is the distribution? So all the factors you rate it. First, how strong is the demand? 0 to 10. How strong is the distribution on the scale of 0 to 10? How is your expertise? 0 to 10. How is your resource? 0 to 10. And then what is the proprietary advantage? If it is not, that is all okay. And after you do it, so after you do each of this idea, create an average scores and look for which idea has the best scores overall. Okay, as I said, 0 to 10, and which idea has a best scores overall. Okay, and so finally, let us try one more step. If you have multiple ideas, what you can do is you can just imagine how you feel about it. This is similar to the concept of flipping a coin and then you get an answer. And have you ever done that? Many times we do it when we are in confusion. Should we do this? Suppose 2 ideas are shortlisted. So now I end up my session because the time is over. What we are going to do in the next session is that I'm going to help you in the next session. Now we have listed down and narrowed down the business idea and tested it, to test your idea. We have done this process in this session. Next session, we will go ahead and do creating and executing a micro plan. But before you do this, I will be sending a sheet. I request the students who are really serious about this, go ahead and fill this sheet before you come tomorrow for the next session. Okay. So I end up here.